The signal arrived from deep space on a channel silent for 10 millennia. Admiral Crexville stood before the towering display screen in his command center, watching alien symbols flicker across the interface. Arms folded behind his back, he observed silently as his science team worked to translate what seemed to be the first message from the ancients in recorded history. For over 8 centuries, the Zephyrian Dominion had ruled 1,000 worlds, yet even they revered the vanished ancients. Their technology remained unmatched. Their warnings had always proved true. Translation complete. Admiral, said Chief Scientist Mara, her scaled hands trembling slightly. The message reads, "Display it," Crexville ordered, his voice rumbling across the chamber. The alien glyphs gave way to flawless Zephyrian script. To any who receive this transmission, the third planet of the star system you call Sol harbors a species of unparalleled lethality. They call themselves human. Do not engage. Do not conquer. Do not observe. They are evolution's perfect trap. This warning comes from those who learned too late, heed it, or share our fate. Silence followed. Battle-hardened officers exchanged uncertain glances. Crexville read the message thrice, then laughed aloud, the sound echoing metallically. "Perfect trap," he roared. "Desperate lies. These humans must be trying to scare us." "What do our scouts report on the Sol system?" he asked. Captain Veltara activated a star map. "Unremarkable, Admiral. The third planet sustains carbon-based life. A single dominant species spans most landmasses. Their tech level," Crexville probed. "Primitive, sir. They've only reached their moon. Chemical propulsion, nuclear power used mostly for inefficient weapons. Fragmented into hundreds of competing factions." Another officer added, "Their communications are completely unprotected. We observe everything: entertainment, military chatter, news. No concept of security." Crexville studied a tactical overlay of Earth. From orbit, the planet was serene. Oceans, green continents, white clouds, ringed by countless unarmed satellites. "Show me their weapons." Images changed. Subsonic aircraft wheeled ground vehicles, naval ships. Their nuclear missiles required hours to reach targets. A mere 3 million troops, split across 200 nations with no unified defense. Admiral Veltara continued. "No planetary shields, no orbital defenses. A single battlecruiser could pacify the entire planet. Their biology: 2 meters tall on average, bipedal. No claws, exoskeleton, toxins, or psionic traits. Life expectancy: 80 rotations. Persistence: hunters. Patience over power," Crexville mused. Unimpressed, he looked upon his fleet, thousands of ships in flawless formation. Each one bristled with continent-killing weapons. His warriors were bred for war, undefeated in 100 campaigns. "One thing troubles me," said Veltara. "The message matches authentic ancient protocols, encryption, mathematics, all beyond our tech. A surviving colony ship, perhaps, hiding, watching. No matter if the ancients were so mighty, why did they vanish?" It wasn't fear of primitives like humans. He activated a fleet-wide broadcast. "Warriors of the Dominion, a new world awaits. The species calls itself human. Intelligence suggests excellent labor potential. Prepare for standard pacification." Across the fleet, crews mobilized, weapons powered on. Shuttles were loaded. Neural pacification fields were tested. The Dominion had conquered for centuries, Crexville's aide asked. "Which battle group, sir?" "The 47th. 40 ships. 10,000 troops. Good training for the young. What could go wrong? Their orbital space is undefended, their weapons worthless." He glanced once more at the warning. The words mocked him, but he laughed again. Empty threats. They had crushed crystalline manipulators of matter, psionic empires, synthetic minds. What danger could short-lived bipeds pose? "Set course for Sol," he commanded. "Let's teach the galaxy what true power is." The fleet surged forward. Space bent around them. Crexville felt the familiar thrill of conquest. Another world would fall, another triumph. He didn't know this would be the decision that changed galactic history. Behind them, ancient sensors worked briefly, recorded the fleet's movement, and went silent. Their only legacy, the warning Crexville mocked. 6 months to Earth. 6 months for humanity to remain ignorant. 6 months before the Dominion learned that weakness can be bait, that the deadliest predators often appear harmless. 6 months later, the fleet emerged from hyperspace. Crexville stood on his bridge as 40 warships formed a ring around Earth. "Increased planetary chatter," reported Telvac. "Multiple languages, mostly emergency broadcasts. Some are attempting direct communication. A few colorful." The Admiral smirked. "Fear, panic, desperate diplomacy. Predictable. Any defenses?" "No. Weapons in orbit. Just satellites. 1 major space station. Likely scientific. Military response. Uncoordinated. Multiple nations scrambling fighters and forces independently. No central command." "Begin Phase 1. Zephyrian weapons roared. Plasma bolts streaked from orbit, obliterating military bases, government centers, and comm hubs across 6 continents. In seconds. "Direct hits," reported Cathmar. 0 survivors. "Secondary targets locked." Crexville nodded as the display filled with red markers. Thousands of lives ended instantly. A grim but efficient necessity counterattack. Detected. Telvac said multiple nuclear launches. Estimated impact in 18 minutes. Status of our shields. At minimum power. Admiral, no threat detected. Crexville watched as the primitive missiles slowly ascended. Then they burst harmlessly against Zephyrian shields, bright but ineffective. Damage none. Shield strength unchanged. On Earth, chaos spread. Communications were panicked. Some units fled, others tried evacuations or last-ditch strikes. Begin Phase 2. Neural pacification fields activated, washing over the planet. Instantly, stress indicators fell, aggression dropped, resistance dissolved, pacification fields holding, Zental confirmed. Massive behavioral shifts across all zones. Crexville allowed himself a satisfied breath. Dominion conquest was an art, now perfected. He had no idea the trap had already closed. Earth was not what it seemed, and the 47th Battle Group was about to discover what 3 billion years of patient evolution had prepared humanity for. The Dominion's cooperative approach proved far more effective than the violent invasions used by less advanced civilizations. Any resistance left? Minimal, sir. A few remote zones with low human population. Some underground areas have limited shielding, but most of the species is under the influence of the pacification fields. Excellent. Proceed to Phase 3. From orbit, landing ships descended, filled with occupation troops. Each craft carried 50 Zephyrian soldiers, outfitted in the most advanced gear in the galaxy. Their mission: establish authority in major cities, set up control hubs, and reorganize human civilization under Dominion rule. The landings unfolded precisely as intended. Human forces, dulled by the pacification effect, barely responded. Most just watched silently as Zephyrian squads seized their bases, governance, and communication lines. A handful fought back, but their outdated weapons were useless against Zephyrian armor. They were quickly restrained with non-lethal disruptors. All key targets secured, reported Ground Commander Vesta. Hostile actions have ceased. Urban zones are stable. Administrative structures are underway. Admiral Crexville reviewed the incoming data. The entire operation had taken 73 hours faster than predicted. Humans had been even less prepared than expected. Casualties? He asked. No Zephyrian losses, sir. Human casualties are around 50,000, primarily military during the opening strikes. Civilian deaths are low, thanks to the field's efficiency. Good. Begin Phase 4. Phase 4 was reorganization. Humans would be categorized by age, health, and skills. The useful ones assigned to labor. The elderly and weak given basic care. Children would learn Dominion culture and language. Future overseers of their own kind. This system, honed over centuries, emphasized integration over slavery. Loyal workers cost less and performed better. Sir Vex's voice returned. We're seeing odd behavior patterns. What kind? They obey orders, attend processing, and stay combat. They observe. They watch our soldiers' equipment, routines, very closely. It's like they're trying to understand how it all works. Crexville frowned. Most conquered beings under pacification grew passive, uninterested in detail. The fields dulled analytical thought but preserved basic function. They're not interfering. No, sir, just attentive. Their observational skills are exceptional. Crexville nodded. Likely just a species instinct toward superior technology. So long as they're compliant, it's not a threat. But in his mind, the old phrase resurfaced. They are evolution's perfect trap. He pushed the thought aside. The mission was a success. The humans were docile, the planet secure. What harm could they pose now? Continue standard procedure. Establish processing hubs, begin assessments. I want full administrative control in 1 month. Understood. In the following days, more reports arrived. Humans followed orders, lined up for sorting, shared their histories, and performed assigned tasks without issue. But the curiosity didn't fade. They watched everything. Zephyrian researchers soon noted their astonishing cognitive traits: fast learning, insightful questions, strong grasp of Dominion systems. Some human engineers were already helping modify Zephyrian machinery for Earth's conditions. They're remarkable, said Chief Xenobiologist Riedel. Their brains adapt rapidly. They form neural links faster than any species we've catalogued. Memory and problem-solving are superb. Are they smarter than expected? Crexville asked. Not smarter, more adaptable. Most races we conquer have focused talents. The Velter were math geniuses but lacked imagination. The Nethrum had psychic strength, but no tech development. Humans are different. They're decent at everything. That makes them ideal laborers. Useful despite short lifespans. Absolutely. Their learning speed compensates, I believe. They'll become one of our most efficient subjects. Crexville was satisfied. The conquest had brought in valuable resources and skilled workers. Earth would serve the Dominion well. His success would be remembered. But alone at night, he sometimes reread that ancient warning. They are evolution's perfect trap. The words now felt heavier. Had they missed something? Humans had surrendered without a fight, and were now integrated. What threat remained? He chalked it up to post-campaign nerves. Every species eventually adapted. In a few years, humans would but be just another loyal part of the Dominion, grateful, productive, and harmless. If there had ever been a trap, it had been disarmed long ago. The Zephyrians had one. 6 months later, as Crexville reviewed routine updates, a priority message arrived from Ground Commander Vexa in North America. The voice carried unusual tension. "Admiral, we have a situation. A supply convoy in the mountain region has vanished." Crexville looked up. Convoys sometimes delayed rough terrain, old infrastructure, last known location. They were passing through an area called the Rocky Mountains. En route to Outpost 7, 3 transports and a guard unit. Communication was steady until 14 hours ago. Mechanical failure. "Unlikely, sir. All vehicles were recently inspected, and there's more. We found no wreckage at their last signal point." Crexville's interest sharpened. Zephyrian craft were highly dependable. Even if one broke down, others would call for help. For an entire group to vanish without trace was abnormal. "Dispatch search unit priority 2, already deployed." They found something you'll want to see. A hologram activated, showing recon footage of the mountain path. Tracks from Zephyrian vehicles ended suddenly, mid-road, like they disappeared. "Continue playback," Vexa ordered. The camera panned to nearby trees. Etched into the bark were strange, deliberate symbols. Complex patterns, not random, freshly carved. "These markings," said the search leader, "aren't in any known human language. They appear not in any form we recognize." Crexville studied the footage. The symbols were definitely artificial. The math was advanced but didn't follow Zephyrian logic. "Any other findings? No bodies, no wrecks, no battle damage?" "But we did detect minute traces of Zephyrian alloy in the soil. Vehicle plating residue, so the convoy was there." "Yes, sir. But beyond the tire marks and metal flakes, there's nothing." Crexville ended the feed, troubled. A single disappearance could be written off as a fluke, but the precision of the symbols suggested intent. "Send Intelligence Officer Terra to my quarters." She arrived moments later, tablet in hand, eyes serious. "Admiral, this isn't isolated. Over the last month, we've logged 17 cases of minor breakdowns, missing supplies, and signal outages. Alone, they seem normal. Together they form a pattern." "What kind?" "Targeted disruptions, sir. Communication units lose only the main transmitter. Vehicles lose navigation but not propulsion. Supply depots miss specific tools, nothing else." She brought up a map filled with red dots across Earth. Continents. But when analyzed together, the events formed a larger pattern and interconnected network spreading across much of the planet. "Additionally," Sir Terra added, "we've observed increasing human activity in remote areas, not aggressive, but organized movement. Large groups are relocating to forests, old cities, and underground shelters. The pacification fields remain stable in urban zones, but outside their range, humans appear to be regrouping." "Regrouping for what purpose?" Crexville asked. "Unknown, Admiral. They haven't attacked or disrupted any major operations, but they're clearly coordinating across vast distances. We've intercepted simple transmission bursts between distant groups, thousands of kilometers apart." Crexville moved to the viewing panel, gazing down at Earth. From orbit, the planet looked peaceful. Orderly cities, obedient workers, all seemingly under Dominion control. Nothing looked amiss. "What's your interpretation?" "Captain, I believe they're studying us, sir. Every lost component, every device failure, none were random. The damaged items were thoroughly analyzed before being removed or tampered with. This points to a strategic understanding of our systems." "That's impossible," Crexville snapped. "Our tech uses encrypted quantum cores and biometric security. Humans are centuries behind. They can't just replicate what they don't understand," Sir Terra said, calling up archived records. "Their species has a unique pattern of technological growth. Historically, humans have rapidly adopted and enhanced foreign ideas. They take what others create and improve it." The files she displayed showed examples from human history, military campaigns where captured tech led to breakthroughs, scientific eras built on shared discoveries, and industrial surges sparked by borrowed innovations. "They call it reverse engineering," she explained, "breaking down existing tools to learn how they work, then creating improved versions. Sometimes their adaptations surpass the originals." "How could that be? How could primitives enhance Dominion systems?" "By thinking differently, sir. We build for Zephyrian conditions and users. Humans adapt things for themselves, on their world. Different does not always mean inferior." Before Crexville could reply, a priority alert interrupted them, this one from the African continent. The ground commander's tone was urgent. "Admiral, we've lost contact with Research Station 12 in the Sahara. Last transmission was 8 hours ago. They were conducting basic geology scans. Dispatch a retrieval unit, immediately." "Already, en route, sir. But there's more. Just before contact was lost, we picked up energy surges from the station. Equipment was active, but operated with strange settings, power levels, and frequencies we never authorized." "That shouldn't be possible." The gear is locked to authorized users. According to logs, sir, the devices were accessed using valid credentials. No hacking, but the usage patterns make no sense. Crexville felt a chill. Mechanical failure was one thing, but secured gear being used in new ways by someone authorized hinted at a deeper threat. What research were they conducting? Analyzing Earth's mineral resources. They had advanced scanners, analyzers, and encrypted comms. Standard protocols. Get me the full report when the recovery team arrives. It came 3 hours later, and it was far worse than anticipated. The station was untouched. No sign of damage, no forced entry. But the entire Zephyrian team was gone, vanished without a trace. The computers, however, held vast amounts of new data files not present before, sir, said the recovery team lead. It appears the researchers left voluntarily. Their personal effects are still here. Number: distress signals. No forced access. But the system now holds detailed file schematics of our equipment, manuals, and diagnostics. In human notation, she added. The data shows a deep, structured grasp of our technology. Crexville stared. They were taught correct, sir. The logs indicate conversations, questions asked by human visitors, answers given freely by our personnel. No coercion, no threats. He couldn't believe it. Zephyrian scientists trained to withstand interrogation, now willingly explaining classified systems, defied protocol. Could it be mind control? Negative. Medical reviews show no signs of manipulation. Our staff simply responded to informed, curious questions. The humans appeared genuinely eager to understand. And the researchers still missing, sir. The humans with them also vanished, but not before leaving behind modified equipment. We recovered several devices. The team sent visual data, machines resembling Zephyrian designs but with changes, rewired internals, added modules, altered power cores. Are these modifications functional? We're still testing, sir, but initial results show increased efficiency. The devices appear optimized for Earth's environment. They consume less energy and perform more effectively here. Crexville went silent. The trend was unmistakable and deeply troubling. The humans weren't just stealing tech. They were understanding it, adapting it, and improving it. Admiral Villaro spoke quietly. We may have underestimated them, sir. The data suggests they're far more capable and more dangerous than we thought. They're still under pacification, Crexville replied. They can't mount a military threat. They don't have weapons or coordination. Perhaps not in the traditional sense, Villaro said. But they're learning everything: our gear, our tactics, our blind spots. They gather knowledge rapidly, while we're still seeing them as primitives. What are you suggesting? What if this occupation wasn't a victory but a setup? What if everything we've observed has been exactly what they wanted us to see? Crexville looked again at the ancient warning now blinking on his screen. They are evolution's perfect trap. For the first time, he wondered if it was more than metaphor. Maintain surveillance, he said finally, but don't confront them yet. We need clarity before acting. He didn't say it aloud, but he knew. The humans were likely watching him just as closely, and they were probably doing a much better job. 2 years after the initial conquest, Admiral Crexville stood before a battle map showing the unthinkable coordinated human attacks on Dominion bases across 6 continents. What's the damage? He asked, voice tight. 17 primary facilities and 43 secondary posts under active assault, replied Captain Valt. Attacks began 47 minutes ago. All time zones, exact synchronization. They've built a central command, and our pacification fields, still functional in cities, sir. But the attackers have lived beyond their reach for some time. The fields no longer affect them. Crexville watched red alerts flare and vanish across the map, but these weren't wild riots, they were calculated strikes. The human units moved like trained armies, used advanced tactics, and wielded technology they should never have had. Show me weapons analysis. New displays lit up. Human troops carried rifles, firing energy blasts. The design mirrored Dominion plasma weapons, but sleeker, lighter, with extended range. Preliminary data, said Weapons Officer Kethmer, shows these arms are 30% more efficient. Better power usage, less heat, tighter accuracy. How they've rebuilt our plasma systems with different what our scientists call resonance patterning. Same power, lower cost. Another screen showed human vehicles faster, more agile than Dominion craft. They were upgrades, not copies. Voice was grim. 2 years ago, they were broken. Today, they're better. Reached their own moon. Now they are building spacecraft that outperform ours, sir, said Communications Officer Telvac, interrupting. We are receiving a transmission on Zephyrian military frequencies. The signal originates from the North American continent. Display it, Admiral Crexville ordered. The main screen lit up, showing a human female in military attire. She stared into the camera with calm, confident eyes. Her words were instantly translated into Zephyrian. My name is Major Sarah Chen, former pilot in the United States Air Force, now commander of the North American Liberation Front. This message is for Admiral Crexville and the occupation forces of the Zephyrian Dominion. Crexville leaned forward, intrigued. This human did not look afraid or desperate. She spoke to him as an equal. 2 years ago, she continued, you came to our world thinking we were primitive. You were wrong. You weren't conquering us, you were teaching us. Every piece of equipment you brought, every tactic you used, every oversight you made, we studied them all. The screen shifted to an underground facility. Human technicians modified Zephyrion equipment with remarkable precision. Thank you for the education. Your plasma weapons taught us about energy containment. Your vehicles showed us advanced propulsion. Your communication systems revealed quantum encryption we never imagined. Your neural pacification fields gave us complete maps of your brain chemistry. Crexville froze. The pacification fields were meant to suppress human resistance. Instead, they had been reversed engineered. Most importantly, she said, you taught us about yourselves. We know how you think, how you fight, how you command. We know your strengths and your blind spots. Class is now in session, Admiral, and today, you're the students. The transmission ended. Silence fell over the bridge. Alarms erupted. Sir, human forces have taken Installation 7 in Antarctica, Telvac reported. They used modified suits to survive conditions lethal to their biology. Installation 12 in the Sahara has gone dark, another officer added. Last report mentioned advanced human camouflage. Orbital relay above South America destroyed, said a third. Missiles use guidance systems more advanced than ours. Crexville stared at the tactical screen in disbelief. These weren't random attacks. The humans were systematically targeting their most vital positions, even secret ones. How do they know our locations? He asked quietly. Every human processed through our facilities had access to our systems. Every worker saw our protocols. Every curious question was data collection. You're saying they've been spying since day one? No, sir, Telvac said. They weren't spying, they were learning. A new alarm blared. Sir, incoming missiles from the surface, reported weapons officer. Kifaf. Multiple launch sites. Sophisticated guidance. Impact in 6 minutes. Activate defenses. Already active, sir, but these missiles are using adaptive algorithms. They're dodging our countermeasures. Crexville watched the display. Human missiles. Arced toward orbit. These were no crude chemical rockets. They moved with intelligence. How many? 247 confirmed, sir. Possibly more. That's more than their entire nuclear retaliation during our first strike. The first wave hit the fleet's perimeter. Zephyrion point defense lit the void with counterfire. Most missiles were destroyed. Some weren't. The ones that broke through didn't explode. They released pulses that destabilized shield generators. Status. Shields. Holding, but weakened. They're using our own shield frequencies against us. That's impossible. That tech is top secret, sir. Our shields have been active over this planet for 2 years. With enough quantum knowledge, they reverse engineered to counter the next missile wave hit. Several got through. 3 ships were crippled, not destroyed. Damage report. Minimal casualties. But our communications, sensors, and weapon systems have been disabled, sir. They're disabling us intentionally. Realization dawned. They're not trying to drive us away, they're trying to capture our fleet. Emergency jump to hyperspace. Now. Generators offline. Navigation systems targeted. Then sublight engines compromised. We're trapped in orbit. For the first time in his life, Admiral Crexville felt fear. Sir, said Valara softly. Another transmission. Display it. Major Chen reappeared, now standing inside a captured Zephyrion facility. Humans worked behind her. Alien tech. Admiral, your fleet is disabled, not destroyed. Your forces are surrounded, not eliminated. Your people are captured, not harmed. All of this is intentional. We don't want to destroy you. We want to learn. Just as you taught us, we want you to teach us about the galaxy. We want to meet the other species you've conquered. The screen changed. A massive underground complex showed humans working on hybrid, spacecraft, and multi-species tech. We've prepared for this since the day you arrived. Every cooperative human was part of a global intelligence network. Every answer you gave became part of our plan. We are not angry. We are grateful. You gave us the means to reach the stars. Now we'd like you to introduce us to our neighbors. With that, the screen went black. Earth rotated below.com and blue. But Crexville now knew the truth. This planet didn't house a primitive species. It housed the most dangerous minds in the galaxy, and they had just begun.